Knotty Geeks, Knotty Geeks. It's time for some Knotty Geeks with Jeremy and Terry.
Like the clapboard. Like that. Oh,
We're
so
back.
start. We're back. We're in Starbucks.
Again.
Inside this time.
I'm sorry, do I have a line?
Welcome to Knotty Geeks.
Yay! Sorry, snowman cookie.
We didn't think about the eating and the drinking ahead of time.
Such is life. So we're driving down the street after having just left the hackery where I dropped off my old case and my old power supply that probably just needs a refurb. And a woman came in while we were there, and she started lamenting the fact that her computer had been totally screwed up by
Windows 10. I'm going to go further than that. I'm going to go and say Windows 10 Windows 10 destroyed her Christmas. That's what I'm going with.
That's right, because they weren't going to be open until...
Till after Christmas. This was the last day they were open. Probably couldn't get it fixed in time. So, yeah, Windows 10, the destroyer of Christmases. Wasn't there an old Apple ad years ago about how Windows ruined Christmas or something? And then kid got a Mac and everything was fine.
Sounds like it's their commercial.
I'm pretty sure that was an Apple commercial. We actually saw that happen in real life. Windows 10 with its automatic upgrade, which will upgrade your Windows 8 when you least expect it to an entire new operating system that will then break things.
Things that you use every day.
Things that you
with
actually
your computer.
use, like iTunes and stuff that you actually need to be able to do.
This isn't like a geek thing.
No,
This is your average user
you just wake
coming
up one
into
day.
their local shop,
Yeah,
and they have a problem that is beyond their capacity to deal with. It's not like you or I hopping out onto the net in our spare computer and looking up the 3 dozen fixes for that.
no,
This is way down on the floorboards of it's a commodity item, it's part of my life, and now it's broken. And she said, even if you can't get it fixed today, it's sitting here broken with a chance to be fixed rather than sitting at home laughing at me.
yeah. She was not happy. She
Very
was
not.
very emotionally distraught by it. Well, so thanks, Microsoft. So we sort of got to thinking about the whole Windows 10 thing and going back in time and like, how did we get here in the first place? Well, the reason Windows 10 is being...
I came from Amigas. Sorry.
The reason Windows 10 is... Or the reason Microsoft is aggressively pushing Windows 10 is because Windows 8 was, I guess you could call it a miserable failure.
Unmitigated disaster.
Unmitigated disaster, sort of Titanic-esque tragedy. So then you have to think, well, why was Windows 8 such a terrible failure?
We know.
Well, we know why, but let's just go over it again.
Rub it in.
They changed the user interface to look like a crazy tablet thing. And
Wasn't that part of their... Didn't they have a tablet?
They had a tablet. It was called the Surface. Well, it was called the Surface RT, which was an ARM-based tablet, so an ARM CPU that would be the same CPU in the iPhone or iPad. So it ran Windows, but it didn't run Windows applications. So it had a bit of a problem. Because
It didn't run Windows applications.
no, the original Surface tablet, the RT, did not run any Windows application. Now, it came with Office, but Microsoft had recompiled it to work on ARM, which you can do if you're Microsoft, right? You have all the source code to do it.
Okay.
Of course, they didn't do it very well. It was slow and it crashed and whatever. But they fixed it eventually. But you couldn't run any third-party apps any third-party Windows apps, because why would someone recompile their Windows app for the ARM processor for one tablet that Microsoft had released? Nobody's going to. Why would you do that? So Microsoft had this problem.
Yeah.
Apparently, for them, it was a big problem, and they thought that if they can think of a scheme to leverage their existing Windows monopoly to make everyone write tablet apps, then they'll be okay.
That'll work well.
Yeah, well, that was the plan.
Instead,
So the result was Windows 8.
wasn't that concurrent with those little mall kiosk setups?
Yeah, the little store.
If we're going to make a mistake, let's do it really well.
They realized they needed a place to actually sell these devices, otherwise no one was going to buy them,
Right.
because no one would buy that in the store. So they made a lot of little Microsoft stores that were sort of copying the Apple Store model. Some of them were real. Some of them were real stores. The ones that we went to were the kiosks, which are all mysteriously vanished. But
Put it this way, they're no longer there.
they're no longer there.
This mysterious part, please.
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead.
There was not a lot of foot traffic. So you have to think of why Microsoft would do something so crazy. Well, we have to get back to Windows 8. The
Right.
plan for Windows 8 was we make this the default OS on all desktops, all standard Windows x86 desktops. And then developers will look at that and they'll go, oh, everyone has Windows 8. We better write applications to support this crazy new tablet-y mode. But if they shipped something that had like a tablet mode and a desktop mode and you could switch between them, what's everybody going to do? You're going to click the button to go desktop.
Windows.
You'll never go back to the tablet mode because you've got a desktop.
Yes.
So what Microsoft did was they forced everybody to go to tablet mode. Every time you hit the start key, there was no start button. And like half the time you launched an app, it would go to tablet mode. It was just, you were always in tablet mode. Hardly ever in desktop mode. And there was
And of
no
course, most desktop screens aren't touch,
Exactly.
unless
So
they're Apple.
it was this miserable failure, and you have to wonder like what compelled Microsoft to think that they should have done this, that they needed to do this.
I think it's the preponderance weight of the corporation, and the mindset, and the competition within the corporation, and the different levels of power structure.
Yeah.
And it's a bad decision. It didn't work. In
No.
retrospect, you could clearly see that it was a failure from the outset, because Windows 7 has been the most solid thing in years.
Yeah. Everyone
and people
loved
who
it.
don't use Windows 7, they're on XP, and it still works for them.
Yeah. XP was fine. Vista was kind of a flop. But
It
7,
was a total flop.
all they did with 7 was they just took Vista and they kind of polished it out a bit, sped it up a bit, made it a little tighter, fixed some of the bugs, and then released it as 7. Everybody loved it. They were fine. It was a great success. So my question is, in an alternate universe where Microsoft hadn't been caught by this crazy corporate brain freeze, what if they had released Windows 8 as take Windows 7, polish it up a bit, make it a little faster under the hood, new kernel, all the things that were in Windows 8 anyway, keep the UI the same, make it a little prettier or shinier, whatever you need to do, but just the basic interface the same.
Yeah.
And then priced it at like $50. Across the board, $50 unlocks everything.
Hotcakes come to mind.
They would have sold a gazillion of those.
Hotcakes.
Yeah.
Like hotcakes.
They would have made hotcakes seem like a terrible product that nobody wanted. That would have been so successful.
They could have even gone sideways and picked one of the server kernels and
Well, yeah.
sped it up and made it the most solid thing on the planet, like BSD
Sure. Why not?
or Solaris. It just sits there
Make
and
it
works.
one OS that's a solid server, that's a solid desktop. Take everything that they know that they have already with 7,
Yeah.
and with Windows Server, whatever it was, 2008 or whatever the last good version of that was. They actually put the tablet version of the UI on the server for 2012. Yeah,
Okay.
or maybe it was 2008.
No more arguments for me.
Yeah, it actually caused some problem for sysadmins who were remote desktoping in, and then suddenly they got a touch screen, They're like, no, I can't. I don't.
You can't touch screen
can't.
from your headless
No,
server?
really not.
No? Really?
Not so much. And they fixed that eventually, but it was a pretty botched release as well, the new server. So yeah. So what?
In an alternative universe,
An alternative
yes.
universe, they could have released that, gotten a lot of traction, gotten everybody on board.
I guess this is like the relationship that develops after an author is so successful that they write their own ticket.
Oh, and they get to basically fire their editor, and they can make these books get longer and longer and longer.
Or go in any direction they want, or
Yeah, yeah.
not have the necessary elements of a story.
Yeah.
The ones that were driving whatever was before them.
Yeah, on all the things that were good about the previous books. Like, remember Orson Scott Card,
Yes.
the Ender's Game? Everybody who's ever read Ender's Game loves it.
Yes.
Universally loved.
When you go on from there that you have a
And
trouble.
then each book following got worse and worse. I think Children of the Mind was the last one that I read that
I stopped reading
I couldn't.
Orson a long time ago.
It was total Deus Ex Machina at the end. It was just terrible. But yeah, Microsoft has been in that position of being so incredibly successful, making tons of money. They're now higher market cap than IBM, which is somewhat ironic if you consider their positions when the PC industry started.
Yes.
IBM was much larger, and Microsoft was like 13 people, you know, out of a garage. So they clearly did a few things right.
Oh, there's so many things that are right, but when you finally beat out WordPerfect,
Yeah.
which was the favorite of all secretaries everywhere because of the way it worked.
Well, they had a little head start with Windows versions of, but you know, WordPerfect was so mad at Microsoft for making Windows in the first place that they decided to wholeheartedly support OS2 with their graphical word processor. So their OS2 version of WordPerfect came out first. Yeah, that
WordPerfect
did
was
not help.
fine on the Amiga. Before we had multiple Windows, I had multiple iterations of WordPerfect running at the
Wasn't
same
it
time.
just a text version still on the Amiga though?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean the text-based UI was kind of janky, right? And all
Well,
those
no,
weird
it-
key combos and stuff.
No,
Or did it have a menu?
it had menus.
Yeah.
It had everything that the Amiga was known for. It was like an Amiga program, but not. Because it still carried the legacy from coming over from DOS.
Yeah, so it was still text-based. I mean, you couldn't see like different fonts and stuff, right?
Yes, you could.
Really? Oh.
They
So
were
it was
very limited amount of
Oh, it was
fonts,
limited.
and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was,
yeah.
It was, you know, it was more or less text-based,
Yeah.
but it had the menus, and it had cut and paste, which was the thing I needed because I put one document in one place. Cut and paste between all these documents I could get online and between what I was writing.
Yeah.
So that's the way I work. I cut and paste.
Cut and paste.
And that was what,
Hallmark of many a great programmer. Cut and paste.
cut and paste. No, it was
No, it's
the
not.
the editor I used to have on the Amiga,
Yeah,
Cygnus Ed.
that was a good program.
That was an excellent program. It's right up there with Opus and
You know,
W Shell.
you could copy columns.
columns.
I
It's the
still,
big
to
deal.
this day, run into
situations
situations
where,
where
you'd like
I really would like to copy a column of this text because I've copied and pasted from a web page. It doesn't paste neatly into a spreadsheet or anything. I just want the column, thank you, and it just no program will do that. Unless
Cygnus Ed did.
unless there's a Cygnus Ed for Windows that
No,
no, it doesn't exist.
There's nothing. I've looked at editors. I settled on Notepad++.
Yeah, that's all right. I used Sublime Text 2. I tried 3, and I don't. But anyway, we're sort of wandering off topic.
We had a topic.
Microsoft something, Windows 10 something. That was the topic.
Yes, and the poor woman whose Christmas is now computerless.
Christmas ruined, thanks to Microsoft.
Not ruined. It's just
Ruined. Ruined's like an internet meme. You type ruined in all caps. And it's a Twitch thing.
Okay.
Ruined.
I'm not a Twitcher.
When they started streaming the Bob Ross marathons, remember that guy?
No.
Twitch bought out all the episodes of Bob Ross. He was like that guy with the afro, and he would paint. Oh, the happy little trees. We'll paint a happy tree, and didn't you ever watch that? It was on PBS like all the time.
No.
No.
Sorry.
Anyway, so Twitch decided to open up a creative section of their gaming. Instead of just gaming videos, there's also creative. So if you're painting digital art or whatever you want to do, this creative music, you can go on that section of Twitch. And to launch it, they did a marathon of all the Bob Ross videos for like 12 years or however long it was on.
Which evidently is someone famous.
Well, they were getting like 50,000 viewers concurrently for like 12 weeks or 12. Yeah, I don't know how long it lasted.
Another internet phenom that I missed.
So what would happen in the chat, the Twitch chat is pretty terrible but also kind of amusing. He would be painting something and then he'd paint over with a big brush and it would, mark out a whole big punch of the thing and people would type ruined in the chat window. And then later he'd fix it all and they'd be like saved. So anyway, that's internet meme of the month. That is actually like 2 months old now. Anyway. Old news. So Christmas ruined, thanks to Microsoft.
I'm actually making all these motions for the video in case it doesn't get posted. But we'll have the podcast handy.
Of everything. Everything is set.
We're on our way.
We're on our way.
I'm considering things. Jeremy's considering things. And we're in good shape. So, Happy New Year. That'll give you a timeline.
Yeah, you can tell by the color of the Starbucks cups that it's a happy Christmas miracle, this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we wave goodbye.
Oh, are we waving goodbye already?
Yeah.
How long has it been? Let's look. Oh, it's been like 17 minutes. Yeah, let's wrap this up.
It was just one comment.
Christmas ruined thanks to Microsoft. Well, we could have talked a little bit more about why Microsoft felt that they wanted to.
We don't know why.
We don't really know why.
We just know it was
well,
a
they
mistake.
thought Apple was a threat. The iPad was going to take over the PC, which it didn't.
We know it was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Anyway, Merry Christmas, one and all. All right. Done.